Hi everybody, I'm Victor Brick, and welcome to February's Good Old Uncle Vic. Lynn and I are here on safari in South Africa. We're staying at the Ulasaba Game Reserve right off the Kruger National Park, and we're staying in a lodge called the Rock Lodge there on the hill. It's owned by Sir Richard Branson. And we're down here at his other lodge, which is called Safari Lodge because it's here in the jungle. And as you can see, there are elephant tracks below us there. The elephants pass under this footbridge to the river behind us to get a drink. There's a dam there where you can find hippos and crocodiles, and there's a lot of wildlife and jungle life right around us. And we're having a great time. But the real reason we're here in South Africa is that I came to meet my BFF, best friend forever, Tony the Lead, and make our pilgrimage to Rorkes Drift, the site of the Battle of Rorkes Drift. Tony and I met in the fitness industry in 1987, and we quickly discovered we had three things in common. We were both born in January. I was January 3rd. I think he's the 10th or the 11th. I can't remember which. We loved chocolate, and our favorite movie was Zulu. And the Battle of Zulu is the story of how 126 British troops back in, it was 1870-something, 1878, I think, held
79.
1879 held off 4,000 hostile Zulus in the Battle of Rorkes Drift. So we made the trek to Natal, South Africa, and went to the scene of the Battle of Rorkes Drift. When we toured Rorkes Drift, we had a Zulu guide that toured us around the battlefield. But before he showed us Rorkes Drift, he showed us the battle site of the Battle of Isandlwana, where 20,000 Zulus overwhelmed and wiped out a British force of 1,500 men. You're talking about the indigenous native tribe with mostly spears and shields, wiping out an army of 1,500 British troops who had rifles, cannons, and even mortars. And he was, of course, much prouder to show us that battle than the Battle of Rorkes Drift. And then when he showed us the Battle of Rorkes Drift, what little we knew about it from movies and reading, from the British perspective, he corrected. In reality, it wasn't quite the great victory that we thought it was. And what I really realized from that experience in touring the battlefield and wondering how could these Zulus overwhelm 1,500 modern troops and basically wipe them out. And of course the answer was arrogance. The British were so arrogant they didn't fortify their camp. They originally came with a force of 3,500 men. They divided their force because they never thought the Zulus could really put up stiff resistance. They underestimated their opponent, and they paid dearly. In this case, they paid with their life. And what's the moral? The moral, of course, is how important it is to always maintain humility, and how in the end arrogance brings everybody down. You see it in sports, you see it in business, you see it with people. When you get arrogant, as an athlete and you lose your humility, that's just when you lose, or when you get knocked off your perch, or when you get injured and all of a sudden you're not quite as great as you thought you were. Same thing in business. You get arrogant, you invest in real estate because everybody's making a fortune in real estate. The market falls out of the real estate market, and you're left holding the bag. And the same thing in personal relationships. When you become arrogant, you don't treat your friends and your family and your people close to you properly, and of course the relationship turns sour. So the big thing is, no matter how successful you are, no matter what position, not just in something like the military or even professional sports, no matter what it is, maintain a perspective. Make sure that you keep your humility and realize that you're never quite as great as you think you are, and things can turn in a second. And always be happy for what you've got, but also keep working hard, be prepared, and always realize that, like I said, you're not infallible and you're never quite as great as you think you are. If you'd like a text version of this Uncle Vic, or for past fit tips or Uncle Vics, you can visit our website at brickbodies.com. And we close every Uncle Vic with a thought for the day. And remember, Tony and I and Lynn and Tony's partner Sue came here because of our birthdays. And in case you were wondering, we're 59 years old. We were both born in 1953. So, going on the topic of humility, at 20, you're very concerned about what people think about you. At 40, you don't care what people think about you, and when you get to be 60, you realize they were never thinking about you in the first place. So until we meet again, that's it from good old Uncle Vic.